And we are
live.
Yes.
Are we live?
I feel like I'm in a temporal causality loop.
It's the Twilight Zone.
We're going to restart every 7 minutes.
What episode was that?
Oh.
Conundrum?
No, that was which one was that? They kept going over and over and over. Cause and effect.
Oh, right, yeah, because Data had to see 3,
The pips.
right? And every time he looked up at Riker's crotch, right? Because isn't Riker standing right behind him?
Yeah, with the leg up. Yeah.
With the leg up, yeah.
With the leg up. Yeah. Could have
And
just
he turns
played
around and says,
What the hell is even that?
so, well, good evening, everybody. Guess what day it is?
Hello, Americans. Thank God it's Federation Friday.
Nice.
We know who that was?
No, who was that?
Listen.
Hello, Americans. Thank God it's Federation Friday.
Is it Paul Harvey?
Paul Harvey.
Ah.
Oh, and now we know the rest of the story.
Yes.
And we've all just aged ourselves.
Yeah. There goes the millennials.
Yeah. Gee, if you guys can't recognize a voice of a man who's been dead for over 20 years, I don't know what to make of this generation.
I know, right?
So this week's episode,
Who's watching TV?
I leaned on
Not
the
I.
button. Sorry.
Huh?
I just leaned on the remote and unmuted it. Sorry. You know what?
I was gonna say, what are you watching? Because it sounds more intelligent and entertaining than this thing.
Third time's the charm.
Third time? Okay, here we go. You got to put them over your ears. All right, tonight's episode was
The Devil
about
in the Dark.
Mexican milk, wasn't it?
I hope
No.
not.
No, it wasn't. The horchata?
Florida.
Oh, horta. Isn't that okay? So it wasn't a drink. Before we get into that, I wanna do this first. We have some new items up on the store. I don't know. You guys saw these?
Yes, very cool.
Stop by Omicron SETI 3 and sniff the fauna.
Love it.
Who knew? Did we lose our host?
He went to go stop and sniff the fauna for a second. Before he got those spores in his face. He probably closed his whole window instead of just that what he wanted to show.
Either that or the Horta got a hold of him for insulting him.
You know, guys, when we take a week off, this is what happens. Mojo's been completely derailed. So I actually have a UFO model. I'm thinking of putting this in the base of
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah, that's what it. That's what it was originally for. I'm just repurposing it. Available on Etsy, guys.
Very cool. I like all the color changes.
Yeah, they had like solid color ones too, and a white one, and there's different patterns to it. There's like fade in, fade out, just complete circle, flat, strobe light type of thing. So I've been driving everybody here at the house crazy with it, trying to find the one I like. So, and if it was just slightly larger, I could put it under a black T-shirt and have my RP going.
Oh, you'd have to have a second one too.
That's true.
Oh no.
There you go. Now what are we doing? There he is. Okay.
What is going on, Biscardi?
I have no idea. This is ridiculous. Every Friday, my internet goes down.
It just can't handle us.
That's it.
And that's probably from popular requests from the viewers.
Yeah. Hitting the off button.
Please stop calling your cable company. It's cable company.
All right, where were we?
We got as far as the episode title, and we're 2.5 hours in so far.
Well, hello, Americans. Thank God it's Federation Friday.
Oh, I wish it was Saturday. All right, so what do you guys think of Devil in the Dark?
I liked it. I mean, outside of the prop for the Horda, which looked like Pizza the Hut. Other than that, it was a really solid episode. I really liked it. It's probably one of my top favorite episodes of the season.
Yeah, I love this episode for a variety of reasons. You know, we get to see our first attempt at a non-humanoid alien with mixed results. And we also get to see really what Star Trek is. You know, we go from there's a monster killing people to in 46 minutes suddenly partnering with it and its offspring to have a happy resolution. And that to me is Star Trek in a nutshell. They're here to seek out new life and new civilizations, and just because it doesn't look like us, we're able to do it. So, yeah, I love this episode.
Yeah, this one was very enjoyable. I'd never seen this one before because I want to say the monster looked ridiculous, but now that I've seen other things, we're 24, 25 episodes in. It's what I expected, and it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I mean, considering the prop was made first before the episode. So the prop master made this thing and went in and they said, it's great. What is it? He's like, whatever you want it to be. And they wrote the episode around the costume.
Interesting.
Which is basically just the prop master laying on the floor on a furniture dolly with the covering, doing this, moving himself around.
Mm-hmm. We have a couple of great lines in this episode.
And McCoy gets a couple of good ones in, as usual.
And I'm assuming this is an updated 3D rendering, I guess. I think it's just a really fine, detailed upscale of the map painting. It's very close to what the original was. Really, because this is really nice.
Yeah. This is that building off to the right that looks like the Hollywood Squares. that has shown up in other things as well in matte paintings, so they kept it fairly consistent.
And this episode, the beginning of it anyway, reminded me of one of my favorite movies with Sean Connery, where you have miners and they're mysteriously dying. And I thought that was a really cool premise.
Yeah, and I love that the stinger at the beginning doesn't feature any of our regulars, which I don't think we've done up till now, and hard pressed to remember if we ever do again. But there's Schmitter. Schmitter's full. Who would really be the last choice I would put on guard duty. This guy looks like he's about to pass out standing there.
Well, if you wanted Schmitter gone.
Yeah.
And I thought this was, typical Star Trek, where, Schmitter's like, is it true? Are they coming to help us? Is the Enterprise on the way? And he's like, they should be here in 4 hours. You'll be all right. And
5 minutes later.
He's waiting for the SpongeBob thing to come up and go, 20 seconds later. I counted. I went back and counted 20 seconds. And he's gone. Now, remarkably, this is the first of 3 people who get this shot without actually firing a shot with their phaser. No one gets a shot off at it. They just sit there and get smushed.
And it seemed like the monster was tall, and it came down on top of them, but I don't recall it like bringing itself up.
It had to do something. What was it going to do? Dissolve his ankles? So, yeah, I guess it kind of arched and kind of splattered him that way.
And then everybody comes running back, and Schmitter's just
Pile of Schmitt.
burned to a crisp. And then that's how it starts, right? It goes right into
the credits, and then we pick up on the Enterprise.
So it seems like they're getting. I don't want to say how do I put it? They're changing things around a little bit. You know how it's not always starting, like you said, with the crew. It starts. It could have nothing to do with the crew until that's because that's the story.
And then we kind of go right into the whole monster thing. Again, very open-minded scientist throwing the word monster around.
Mm-hmm.
I got to say, these stupid utility uniforms, I really like these.
Yeah, they look like car wash attendants.
Yeah, they're the cleanest miners I've ever seen. No one's got any dirt on them.
So Schmitter has been dead 2 days already?
Yeah. So,
well, I thought he said Enterprise would be here in 4 hours.
I think he lied to him. Yeah, I think. What does it matter? He was dead in 20 seconds.
It's Horta time.
So I'm wondering, what the regulations in the future are that suddenly the Enterprise has been diverted after 50 people have been killed. 50. That seems like an awful lot of people to have died before they decided to call for help.
Well, maybe there's a limit.
Here's Ed Appel talking about his hairpiece. Spock's thinking about joining the Janus VI bowling league.
Those reminded me, like, have you played Wii Sports?
Yes.
So before you get your pro ball that looks like a watermelon,
Yeah. And this guy is just great as a grouch. He has been in everything. He's been in episodes of The Honeymooners, Dragnet. Had a very, very, very long career.
there's Bones trying to figure out what extremely corrosive acid will do to a body.
Yeah, he looks stumped there. As opposed to just corrosive acid, it's extremely corrosive acid. Okay.
Well, if it's extremely corrosive, can it actually be in a vat?
Like a universal solvent. What do you hold it in?
How does one hold a vat of extremely corrosive? How do you test it?
Well, later on in the episode, someone in this photograph, who shall remain nameless, tries to reach into a smoking tunnel, and Spock basically has to say, "No, that's hot." Okay. You're a scientist. You're supposed to be. And I wonder if that thing on the neck is like supposed to be a communicator or something.
So now we're down in the caverns again, and we have another guy walking around, and the next thing you know, he's apparently not a vat that holds extremely corrosive acid.
But thank God it doesn't burn the floor.
Okay, yeah. So how does it? It can dig tunnels, but how does it not just from just standing there?
I wonder if it can control itself.
Its secretions, maybe. That's what I was thinking. Because theoretically, if it can tunnel like that, it should be able to go in any three directions. So, maybe in order to propel itself, it realizes it can't corrode what's underneath it, or it'll just continue to the center of the planet. So I think there is some degree of control over what it can do. Because remember, Spock's able to touch it later. So it must not be secreting those acids. Oh, yeah, here it is. Big, smoky, burning.
Hole. Perfect hole.
Yes, and after being told multiple people have been dissolved, we're still going to touch it. Okay.
So now this thing knows that it needs to take this specific part.
Yeah, apparently it knows engineering. And to that, alien engineering to boot. So it just figured out, I need this pump. And it takes the pump, and the pump is not dissolved. So it's got to have some degree of control.
And an arm and a hand to carry it.
It had those little flingy things in front of it. Remember, they said it looks shaggy.
Oh, is that where the shag?
Yeah. This is an interesting choice with the Flintstone wall in the background. I get it, you're supposed to be underground and stuff, but look at how uneven rock-like formations it is. So here's Spock just starting to get the inklings of what's going on.
Yeah, he put it together pretty quick, didn't he?
Yeah, so I actually had as a bit of a complaint about the episode. But when I went back and watched, I don't know if it was supposed to be subtle or I'm just reading into it, but the nodules, he picks it up and he's touching it.
Mm-hmm.
Is he getting a sense of a consciousness from just touching it? Because Vulcans are touch telepaths. Maybe that's what is kind of putting the idea in his head.
Yeah, I kind of wondered if he didn't sense some kind of life form.
So if he holds a chicken egg,
At a certain point, yes. Yeah.
right, before he cracks it in the frying pan.
So now Spock and McCoy go back and forth about the possibility of silicon life.
Now that's isn't that the crystalline entity? That was a silicon
Yes.
from Next Gen. Was the
Yes, that was a silicon-based life form.
and then I was thinking also towards the end of the episode, they have an agreement with the Horta to work together. Remember that thing that was stuck to the back of the Enterprise?
Yeah, the thing that was feeding off the warp core.
Yeah, wasn't that the baby thing?
They soured the milk.
Yeah. Now, was that, or was it the the crystalline entity that they were using as a slave? Because this reminds me of an episode from Next Gen.
I could see this fitting into a Next Gen style story. I think Lore was using the silicon entity, wasn't he?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Or the silicon entity was using Lore to bring him biological life forms to feed off of. Because that's what that thing was doing. Remember, it wiped out that colony and it destroyed all life on that colony?
Right.
For sustenance.
I guess I need to watch my Next Gen again.
That's the next podcast rewatch.
That'll take years.
Friday's the next generation.
Yeah, okay. Maybe we'll start that in 4 days.
Yeah. So now we lose another one. At least this one left a little bit more of a trace behind.
Yeah, there's his weapon. And I think I napped a little bit during this because I know later on I have a couple of slides that show the guy getting it.
And there's our handsome beastie.
I have a question. What's the difference between the phaser 1 and phaser 2? Because the phaser 2 was the only thing that could repel.
So phaser 2 is one more better. And okay, I saw a smile. He got it. So phaser 2 uses phaser 1 as a power pack, and it has its own secondary power pack. Phaser 2, you can do more with it. You can concentrate the beam. You can do wide angle. There's a lot of things with phaser 2 you can't do with phaser 1. So
Phaser 1 is the small one that piggybacks on the one with the hand grip.
The one that
Okay.
looks like an electric razor is phaser 1. Yeah.
And then when you put them together, right? Isn't that the way they work? You put a
Put that one in there. Yeah. Okay, and this has always been one of my chief Star Trek complaints in every iteration of the show. Those guns are pointing over the head of the Horta, yet the beams seem to know to angle down to strike it at just the right range. This drives me nuts. And Next Gen used to drive me crazy with the wand phasers because sometimes they'd be 30 degrees up, 40 degrees. Like it there's no in-universe explanation for it except, guys, point the thing where you want to go. You two red shirts, go first. I'll follow.
Yeah, I think this is where I jumped back.
And the more people who die, the more Spock seems to be putting it together. But Spock has his own interest. And this is where I think we get a little bit of conflict between Kirk and Spock, is that suddenly Spock doesn't want to see it killed.
Right.
But then he does a 180.
Yes, which is my chief problem with the episode, is that, talk about a flip-flop. It'd be a shame to kill it. Kill it, Jim. I mean, whoa.
Where'd that come from?
Where'd that come from?
So Kirk wants it dead, no matter what. So they lined up basically a buffet.
Yeah. And this, yeah. As soon as this came up, I'm like, oh, look, it's The Walking Dead. But, you know. Yep, Mr. Leslie is there. Who, by the way, when later on the episode, when the mob attacks, Leslie gets clubbed like 4 times on the back of the head while he's laying on the ground. I'm like, he's dead. There's no way he can survive that. I mean, everybody else got like a gentle nudge and a push, but they just went like Rodney King on him. Again, you know, I love that reference.
Yeah, we'll delete that. They went, what's his name from Walking Dead? Negan.
Yeah, they really did. And guys, you're not having any luck with Phaser 1, so side clubs would be better. It's like in Halloween Ends when they all go after Michael Myers and the one lady brings an iron. Okay.
We have a comment.
Oh.
So Todd, what do you like about the this episode? Yeah, so I think I went back. This is where I went back in time because this is the guy that got killed.
He almost smacked his head into the cave there.
Yeah, he seems like one of the guys that would have died anyway.
Yeah, here's another guy. Oh crap! Doesn't get a shot off. Yes, Todd, I agree with you. That's exactly what I said at the beginning of the episode. You know, and thank God it didn't dissolve the phaser. That would have been one hell of an explosion.
must have been a little overweight because there's a little bit more left on the ground for this guy.
Spock looks like he's a little drunk there.
I love
So
this
this is what I thought this
banner
was.
here.
I thought this was interesting. This is the. We shouldn't both. Kirk says we shouldn't both be down here. Go back to the ship, because if we both died, that would be a bad thing. So then Spock says, "Well, the odds against both of us being killed, are what is it? 2,228.7 to 1."
Never tell me the odds.
So yeah, so then later on we see Kirk and Spock. They're separate. Spock says, "Where are you, Captain? Jim, I'm coming to you." Okay, doesn't that increase the odds?
Actually, he's like, well, we're together. The two of us dying is 2,287 to 1. If we separate, though, I bet we double them. No, that's not how math works, Jim. And that's coming from the worst math podcast in possibly the world. We'll tell you, you don't double that. Yeah. But he was able to count correctly. There were 2 tunnels. So that was good.
So they have
Scotty coming in, honestly saying, not much I can do here, but I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Not over promising, no miracle worker here. He was like, now, does Ed Appel have a baseball bat?
It looks like Silver Easton.
Because I chuckled when I saw that, because I'm like, they look like one of the rejected gang from the Warriors. The jumpsuit gang.
So Spock can feel that they're being watched, I guess. He's that empathic.
Well, he's made contact with one of them, so let's go with that.
And I thought this line was funny.
Yeah.
2 tunnels, 2 of us. Why not?
Flawlessly logical, right? Mm-hmm. You take the one that's smoking, and I'll take the one that's not. Oh, okay.
Weenies, come out and play.
Have Uhura over the subspace communication. Where are my weenies at? I know you're trying to find the devil in the dark. Come to Janus VI. Have a few laughs. It'll be fun.
So he found the nest, and then here comes
The mama.
Here comes Mama. This is Big Mama's house here.
And these are nice moments for Nimoy, because he's trying to walk the fine line between concern and being emotional. And clearly he goes past it, then just regains composure. But he's back and forth through this whole episode. And we've never seen a panicky Spock in an episode before. So to me, that just adds to the tension and the stakes for the episode.
Now, is this the first time he's screamed Jim? in the series? I mean, I know he's called him, Jim before, but like you say, panicky.
I would say it's probably one of the first times he's done it not being under an altered mental state. And this is a nice little remastered effect.
Now, what did this look like in the original?
Pink spot and then a hole. Really what it looked like. So the little wavering, the fiery thing, that was really nicely done. So interesting enough, this episode was being filmed when Bill Shatner got word that his father had passed away. So it's hard to see in some scenes, but it jumped out at me like a freight train that a lot of shots of him from behind is clearly a stunt double, which apparently was done to let him go back, obviously for his father's funeral and things like that. And all of those shots of Kirk from behind were done the same day that the mind-meld close-ups were all being filmed because he wouldn't be needed on set for that day.
Mm.
And Shatner had said this is his favorite episode.
For that reason, or?
He just thought it was well written. He the emotions that played into it, the banter. He just thought this is it. This is the one he felt like we hit a high point. Yeah, so now we start flipping, as Debbie pointed out before.
Kill it.
Didn't you want to capture it? Like, first of all,
I want to capture it.
What he and Ray from Ghostbusters had the same plan to capture it. Get her! What were you going to do? Where were you going to put it? It eats through solid rock. And there it is, showing its wound.
Is that? I didn't know if that was a wound or.
Well, remember they picked up the piece that came off of him when they phasered him. They took a little chunk off of him. Mm-hmm. That's where the chunk came off of.
Okay.
Yeah,
because that might have been like Horta hemorrhoid.
Well, he turns around to show Kirk the wound, and for a brief second, I'm like, "Oh God, please don't, please don't." Jim, it's not presenting to you. Don't. It's hurt.
Well, it is
female. It is a female.
He pieced it together. He's just looking around, going, "Where is he?" Oh, okay, I got it now.
So now the odds of them both being killed have just risen? They've gone up? Probably 2 to 1?
Yeah. Yep. So they're piecing it together. The animal, at this point, for lack of a better word, had the opportunity to attack. But when Kirk sat and talked, it showed its wound. There's clearly signs of some intelligence there. And they're trying to figure out how to reach it, yet both of them still have their guns pointed at it.
Yeah, and that was another thing that I thought was pretty cool was every time Kirk lowered his phaser, the thing came closer, and then he raised it up again, and they did that like dance like 3 or 4 times, back and forth, yeah.
So clearly there was some sort of intelligence at play. To me, if you're trying to get through this thing, maybe one of you at least holster your weapon. Just putting it out there. Except in that shot where he's apparently starting to point the gun towards Spock.
For flip flopping.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah, what
okay.
is
The
that?
beam will come out at a 70-degree angle. Hit exactly what it needs to.
Now he's pointing it at Spock's junk. If that's where his junk is. Who knows? I mean,
Groin.
is that his junk there?
Okay, that might be the stunt double from behind. Yeah, that's the stunt double.
And like Todd says, this is the first time we see a mind meld, right?
We did see a mind meld in Dagger of the Mind.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right. So this is the first non-humanoid mind meld.
And this is not really a mind meld. This is because he doesn't touch it the first time, right?
No, this is kind of a telepathy thing, which Spock did a couple episodes through the door, if we recall correctly. He had the guard on.
Oh, right.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. He had the guy open the door, right?
Yeah.
He did the old follow him down the hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now the pain that the hoarder is feeling, is that pain from the wound, or pain from, I guess it's pain from all the children that are dying, right? Because that's what the speech that the hoarder makes later at the end, right?
It's probably a combination of both. Of the children dying and getting shot in the ass. So, yeah. And then, of course, the big moment of no kill eye. So I don't know why Spock was thinking about Yoda when he did the mind meld. But
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like a line from another franchise.
and the name of a good band.
So is its name Horta? I guess if you put the letter A in there, it is the species Horta,
Yeah.
not a name.
Yep. The species is Horta.
Okay, so it's not like, oh, I call myself. It calls himself a Martin.
No, I would assume that they would all have like Flintstone bedrock names, keeping with the rock thing. So, like Rocky Granite is probably her real name, but yeah, she calls herself a hoarder.
Rock Thompson.
Rock Tops. Perry Masonry,
Masonry.
Yeah. So now he's calling for McCoy, who we know will instantly make any situation better. And again, Jim, I don't think there's a reason to be pointing your gun at it. Spock's already put his away. And what we got coming up here, to me, is just a great performance again by Nimoy. It could have come off very silly, especially doing the weird voice. But I think personally it's very effective. I'll touch it. No, Jim, I got it. It's all right. It's
So is that is that damage on the outside, or is that it's like
I think it's
veins, or is it muscles, or
I think it's probably just different type of minerals. It's supposed to represent different type of minerals that make up this creature. It's silica. I mean, we're carbon based, but we're not all carbon. You know, we have other trace elements in us, so maybe that's what it is. Or it's a natural defense. You know how in geology you got different veins of minerals and stuff. Maybe it's just a natural camouflage defense.
looks like
Or maybe
lava?
silicon rock. It actually, to me, looks like a combination of a blondie and a brownie mixed together. Oh, come on, Commander. They're right behind you. They might not be the most attractive looking group, but. And what did Ed Appel do that they forced him to wear that pink onesie for the whole? Everybody else is in orange and yellow, and Ed is in purple, pink.
Well, that's why he carries a bat around wherever he goes, because people make fun of him.
Doc McCoy, not to be confused with Doc McStuffins.
And like you were saying, this whole part, I mean, the you could see pain when Spock is contacting him, and it was cool the way they did the short snippets of thought, I guess.
The clip dialogue, yeah.
Yeah. Because it was kind of like a mystery that the more that they spoke, you would piece it together.
Yeah. Yeah. And imagine how much more he would have gotten if he'd actually put his hands where the thing's brain was. So, like, how do you even figure out where the head on that thing is?
Yeah.
And I think this is one of our first I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer. I think the previous one was I'm a doctor, not a moon shuttle conductor. So
Now, are those lines something that do you think that Kelly thought of, or was that written for the character?
no, those were definitely scripted.
Yeah.
Those were scripted. And I think he liked them. So eventually I think he just asked for them to be thrown into it when possible.
Because it makes his character, you know.
And here's the turn where this is Starfleet. This is what they're out here to do. You know, okay, this is a misunderstanding. We'll eventually put our guns down, but we're here to help. You know, and that's what I love. Doesn't matter that this thing is a monster or a creature or even a killer at this point. We're willing to help.
Yeah, because he's being treated poorly.
Mm-hmm. Now, were these destroyed or hatched? This is the one question I have in this episode.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Is there already thousands of them around?
I kind of got the impression they were destroyed.
Yeah.
Because they are supposed to be hatching soon. Spock says it in a little bit that and the Hoarder is ready to die. Like I think part of it is she feels she failed. And, part of it is maybe the injury.
And then here's the old your
Worst,
shoelaces untied trick.
the worst security detention in Star Trek history.
Oh, there they are.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the guy with the bat I'll overlook, but these two idiots turn around and like, huh? And even this, it's so telling that when Kirk starts explaining what happened, like I just expected the mob to keep going. They actually stop and they think about what we didn't know. Like you can tell they feel bad. They feel guilty about what they've done.
Yeah, because they didn't know what it was. What was on the inside. Is it just goop, or is it like a pearl type of thing? Like just a piece of rock.
Yeah, it was solid. So I don't expect miners to have scientific equipment like that to realize what they were dealing with. And even that speaks volumes of Star Trek's vision of trying to better ourselves and trying to understand ourselves. That this bloodthirsty group that probably just killed 3 innocent security guards realized, oh, well, we didn't know they were babies. Okay, so we feel bad. And Kirk lays it all out, and I think they understand that they're the devil in the dark,
Right.
not the Horta.
That's what I took away towards the end. It was like, oh, you know what?
Oh, Todd, I'll have to check that out. Thank you. Okay, would have been a great line except for by golly. Golly went out before the end of the 20th century. So.
Yeah. And he's, by golly, Jim, I'm beginning to think I can cure a rainy day. Let's go get a mint julep.
Let me just take this quick drying cement off my ungloved hands.
And then doesn't he start rubbing it? Oh, he's like, hey, come on over.
He makes it worse. You're 100%. Yeah, there he goes. And he says to Spock, broker the deal. And he's telling these guys they're going to be rich beyond their wildest dreams. Again, kind of the economics of the future is still a big question mark when it comes to money.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nice to see Picard kind of reference that. When Raffi kind of laces into him about him staying in his nice big mansion while she's in basically an RV out in the middle of nowhere.
And then here we have Spock insulting the human race.
That he conveniently forgot he's half of. Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
And that's it. And then we're on our way home. We get a nice little closing here with some fun, playful back and forth about Spock's ears.
And I thought this was pretty cool, the way he's, there. The chief is like, yeah, they're not too bad once you get around the way they look. And then Spock's like, yeah, that's what the Horta said about humans. And I don't know, maybe it was just the hairpiece she was referring to.
She really liked those ears. And this is where we also start getting a real sense that Spock does have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
So, fun episode. Definitely, I think it's one that the fans have embraced over the years. The Horde do show up from time to time in expanded universe stuff like the comic books. We've had Horders in Starfleet. We've returned to Janus VI on more than one occasion in some of the novels. So there's a DS9 novel, which, if I remember correctly, the Horde are working on with the Bajorans to help the Bajorans mine some of their moons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. So, So they show up from time to time, which I think is a great throwback. And, you have a non-humanoid in Starfleet. That's great. That's great.
Yeah. And what did we lose? Just one?
Well, we did lose one red shirt and a couple of orange jumpsuits along the way.
Yeah. So, you know what time it is?
Yes.
God,
Yes.
no.
It's time to hit the button and say goodbye. Our running count: Matthews, Rayburn, O'Hurley, and not worthy of a name. You will be remembered.
I'm going to tear to my eye, but I might short circuit.
Sad, not worthy of a name going in this episode.
Yeah. We're assuming the others were just bludgeoned to near death.
Yeah, they have a splitting headache.
Not to death, yeah. If only there was a doctor who was not got his hands covered in concrete who could maybe help them.
Well, that's what, their head was split open, so he just ran back and patched them up with the concrete.
That man's bleeding. No, just trowel it in there with your hand. There, we're good. Yeah, well,
he can cure a rainy day.
Well, you know what? It was after 3, so he was already 6 mint juleps deep by the time that happened. So.
Yeah. All right, so
Samuel,
I like that episode. That was a good one. I mean, I watched it, I think, 3 times. I did it a little bit differently. Usually I'll watch and I'll do the screen caps at the same time I watch it for the first time. And this time I said, you know what, let me just watch it and kind of pick out the ones that I think are important, because I was, doing 150, 160 snaps per episode, and I watched this one first, and then the second time I watched it, I was like, okay, I'm going to do the snaps this time, and towards the end, I had 150 snaps, because there was that fantastic Spock speech when he's, melding, I want that, and that's not everything he said, it's like, it was a very, very enjoyable episode. I like this one.
Yeah, this is a good one. They, again, as the season's gone on, we see them definitely on more sure footing, and next week we have a big Klingon episode, and not just a Klingon episode, but an episode that kind of establishes things we hear about for 50 years, the Organian Peace Treaty. So, I think the next couple are really good, and they go out strong. And then season 2 is really they're to coin a phrase, they're running on all thrusters. That's where we're getting like the classic episodes. Don't get me wrong, there's a couple clunkers in there. Man, one of the episodes I hate more than anything is coming up soon. But I think we're on solid ground now.
Yeah, this one for me was probably a 7 or an 8. This was right up there with probably Space. Not as good as Space Seed, but in that realm, in that third of the 1 to 10.
Yeah, and you can easily see why this one usually makes most people's top 10 list. If Hallmark does an ornament out of it, means something.
Yeah. What do you got, Deb?
I give it a solid 8. It's a really good episode. Great writing. It's a good episode.
And acting. The writing and the acting really came together beautifully on this.
And next week is
Errand of Mercy.
Errand of
right.
Mercy.
Errand of Mercy. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We appreciate the time you take and the comments you make. Ooh, I'm gonna write that down. That rhymes.
That flowed nicely.
That's it. Deb, what do you got coming up this week? I know there's a lot going on, right? With Daredevil coming back and
over on
close to
Feast of
Andor.
Fandoms. Yeah, Feast of Fandoms. Monday we will do our reaction review of the season premiere of Daredevil Born Again. So I'm very excited. Loved it. It was great. I was sad. I cried.
Now, I was reading something about Easter eggs for it.
Yeah.
Like
there's some Easter eggs.
Like their apartment number is 468 or something like that, and that.
Yeah, the 468 refers to Daredevil number 468 overall on the comics, and it's where Foggy fakes his death. And I sure as hell hope that's true. Because I'm Foggy. I love Foggy.
Yeah. So I'm gonna dive into that one. My son never saw the original series, so we're doing a rewatch on that first.
Yeah, we just finished that this Monday. We finished season 3.
Yeah, so he loved the first episode. So he and I are going to do watch parties until he's home, and then we're going to go through the rest of the season.
So,
Nice.
Deb, let me ask you: Do you need to watch like what's the other one, The Punisher, to get any of this?
I don't know because he hasn't appeared yet, but I mean, I don't know. I think you can probably get the gist of things that are going on. There are a few things that are mentioned in, I think it's the first episode that refers to the Disney Plus show Echo, but it's just very brief. But I think you can pretty much get the gist of what's going on without having to really watch everything.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but did I see that they're doing a one-off Daredevil special on Disney Plus? Not Daredevil, Punisher special to kind of bridge that
special presentation, kind of like what they did with Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, like a one-off.
All
It better
right.
be damn good because I was really hoping for a series.
I guess I got a lot of TV to watch.
Series. Ghost Rider and
Didn't watch-
Daredevil, my two favorites. So
I haven't watched
Did you say
season
Ghost
2 or
Rider?
3.
I love Ghost Rider. I keep waiting for a series or a movie.
I have to. I admit, that first movie I loved. That second movie is unwatchable. But I
Yes.
thought they did such a good job on that first flick. I would have liked to have seen that kind of continue, but
Yeah, and the second one's a little less to be desired.
And then what about Cantina?
I don't know what we're talking about Thursday because Andor is 50 days away. But we've just kind of been doing random Star Wars stuff where we didn't really want to dive into like Rebels or Clone Wars because we knew Andor was coming up. So as far as I know, I don't know what we're doing on Cantina. It'll be something Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Martin, you got anything special coming up?
doing my
You gotta go plug in your eye.
doing my taxes, and that's about it. So,
That'd be a
Taxes. We don't have to do taxes.
well, I've been waiting. I'm waiting for the executive order to come down.
Yeah, I'm holding off.
Yeah,
I'm not hitting send until April 13th or 14th.
yeah. I miss the days when I used to be able to write a check because I would always put in the memo area for bombs and bullets only because it would just make me feel better. I miss those days
Yeah.
because honestly, I get killed every year. Killed. I have not gotten money back from the federal government since the year I bought this house, and it was 10 years before that I got money
Wow.
back. Yep.
All righty, kids. Thanks for watching. We will see you in the internets next week for Errand of Mercy. Make sure you all watch up.
Brush
Catch
up
up.
like a Klingon.
Yep. And we'll try and figure out what's wrong with is that Colicos in that one?
Yes.
Okay. Can't wait for that.
Yeah. It's great. Great.
Have a good night, everybody. We will see you next time.
Live long and prosper, guys.
And remember,
Thank God it's Federation Friday.
we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, guys.